the computer.
No,
Okay.
I'm doing like three things at the same time. It's all right.
Same.
Same, I guess. Okay, so I wanted to we haven't had like a quote unquote orientation meeting for a Fit Six in a really long time. And I was like, well, I think it would probably benefit us to kind of have an idea of what's going on before the first meeting that you start talking about what's coming in the upcoming week, just to kind of give people who have never done this before an overview of kind of how it generally works. Um, yeah. And then I also wanted to kind of get a sense of what people wanted to do maybe differently this time around, because some of us have done that. Most of the information that I share, most, if not all of it, is going to be pretty much the same. Um, Aside from our new food pyramid by our Health and Human Services or whatever the
Yeah, I like it.
department is, it's actually at first glance it's not terrible, but I haven't really I've only superficially looked at it, and it doesn't matter. Anyway, most of the information is not going to be new. It's just kind of like for some people it will be, but for the rest of us, it's more of a reminder like, hey, these are the things we need to work on and pay attention to. Don't get lost in the weeds, focusing on uh, drinking this type of bone broth versus that, when in reality, like most of us aren't eating enough fruits and vegetables, kind of a thing. So yeah, like there's a general idea, general structure to this, but um, I don't really know what I want to do this time around, whether or not I want to do it as like a true Fit Six, where we focus on all six areas of what I believe contribute to our health and wellness, or do we just pick one that, like nutrition, for example, which is probably the most practical, appropriate at this time of year, to dive into and get kind of deep into? So, yeah, let's start there. Let's start with what you guys kind of want to get out of this, what you were thinking, things like that.
I don't want to see Gwenny's butt.
She wants to show it off. She's actually farting right now in my face and ear.
We can tell. It's zooming in on her butthole. I guess from experience
Huh?
before, like it depends on who wants to participate and what they're I think every person is looking for a different degree of and different Fit Six focus. So I don't know what is the most effective way to address everyone as much as, or figure out a way that each person can get the most out of it for themselves. Because I bet some people are super concerned, more or most concerned about nutrition. Other people, like, they're cool with their nutrition and want to focus on fitness or something. So I don't know. In my experience of doing these in the past, I've found like a more particular focus is more effective for me, whether it's one that I needed or not, or thought I needed, as opposed to the general overview. Because I feel like the general is so general, it's hard to kind of, other than if it's one of your earlier times learning about these things, it's kind of like the recaps are for people that have done them before. It's not as helpful.
Impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. And I kind of also don't. I'm not as into it when I feel like I'm spreading the same information for the 17th time to the same people. So um, there's that also.
Brian, what do
Um,
you want to get out of this?
yeah, what do you? Since Brian and Julia and Kyle sort of and Isabel and Luke are kind of new, let's hear what you folks want to hear and see and get out of this.
Well, I answered the poll of like what is Fit Six, so that's what I'm expecting out of this call. So,
Okay,
when we start there.
Kyle.
I always think like the nutrition piece, because as much as I think I know, I never seem to know enough. And I think that, just speaking for myself in my 50s, like that is a piece that I can always do better with. Um So the nutrition piece to me, that's important.
Julia.
She has to unmute.
Who's trying to figure it out? I understood that.
I think that the first meeting could be a general, this is what the 6 categories are.
No, we'll do that today.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that today.
But I also think pick one to focus on.
So your vote is to focus.
Focus. And I don't care which one it is, because you can always improve.
I also think for people that are newer to figuring out what even the 6 are and how to even focus on them. Like, I think reviewing mindset is like an expectations, like level setting your expectations of like signing up for Fit 6 doesn't mean that you're going to get like a magic pill and in 6 weeks or whatever, however long this is, you're going to lose like 20% body fat. Like, just being realistic of like what this even is and what you get out of it. And I think every person will have their own personal questions of like, okay, I'm supposed to sleep, but what does this mean? That leaning on other people, not just necessarily Will, because like, Brian and I take class together multiple times a week, like knowing who to go to ask questions that maybe can help you figure things out for yourself and how to drill down on your particular needs.
I think that accountability piece as well is really similar to what Steph is saying. I think that that's really great to have like this group and the meetings and the place to be accountable. I know that that's helped me the last time we did this.
Isa?
Are we gonna touch steroids?
Touch what?
I thought I heard steroids.
I heard steroids also.
I personally forgot what was this about, honestly. Like,
She
with the-
thought this was a steroid meeting. That's tomorrow. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay, great. Then bye. No, just kidding. Yeah, like I forgot what was this about, and me personally, for the firefighting part, like I forgot what to eat, I'll be honest. Like I've been eating MREs for like the past 2 years. So I really forgot what to eat and what's healthy. And now that I'm in the transition for the policing, like I need to relearn pretty much. So
Okay, so that's a second vote for nutrition. Luke said sleep. Okay, so let's answer Brian Lamb's question, give you guys an overview. So Fit 6, it's basically it's the 6. There might be more, maybe some of them should be less, or maybe there should be less, I guess. But I think that there's 6 categories, 4 of them more physical and like objective. Well, I guess the other 2 could be objectively looked at, but like the first 4 are physical, like the Fit 6 are sleep, eat, train, recover. So those are your first 4. And then the last 2 are think and connect, and so eat basically focuses on nutrition. Sleep focuses obviously on sleep, and it's separate from recovery because it's so important that I think it needs a separate category. Train, basically, most of you are working out, moving your bodies consistently enough that like we don't usually dive too deep into training just because classes should be taking care of that pretty well for you. Recovery, we have a huge, like that's a big part of this. And then think is more of like a mindset thing, not just like setting expectations, but it's also like thinking about why you're doing what you're doing and how you're doing what you're doing, and not just in the gym, but just in general, like how you approach problems you're having, or life, like how do you deal with the constant barrage of polarizing news and things like that. We don't get really into that, but like that kind of stuff. And then connecting is like, or connect is about the relationships in your life. And usually it lends itself to being, if you're doing a general overview of,
Hi, Summer.
if you do a general overview of all six, we'll give like 1 or 2 weeks to each one, depending. This time around, 8 weeks kind of works out perfectly before. I forget exactly what it's between, but 8 weeks worked really well for me. I think I have something going on at the 9th week. So, and we're starting it a little bit into the, I think we're starting in February to give people a chance that maybe are new to the gym, a chance to join us for the first one of the year. So yeah, it sounds like we have a nutrition request, and very probably anyone who's going to be interested in this is going to want that. And then what we can do is we can design the weekly like reflection and homework, daily homework and things like that. We can add like one piece of all of the other categories as like a checkbox, and then we'll have like a main focus for that week in terms of nutrition. And the last time we did a nutrition focused one, I actually really liked it. I thought it was a really good progression into how you should be thinking about nutrition. Like it doesn't really matter which magnesium supplement you're taking. Like I kind of already joked about earlier, if you're not eating enough fruits and vegetables and getting enough protein and drinking enough water, like these supplements are so tip of the spear kind of concerns, unless you're deficient in it, for example, that it's not going to make that drastic of an impact for you. If you're only getting into the gym once or twice a week, it's unlikely that some of these other habits that kind of are all intertwined with each other are going to be that effective for you. That's not exactly true. That's not fair. But the point is they're all interrelated with each other and they all kind of feed each other. And yeah, that's what we focus on for this time around, going to be 8 weeks.
Into the gym necessarily mean gym. It's any kind of activity, I
Well,
think.
that's kind of why I said that, and it doesn't really matter, but
Yeah.
Will, when you said think or mindset or whatever we've categorized that before, like people's mindset about how to approach their workouts in the gym, is that mindset or is that fitness? Like meaning whether
No,
you
that
should
is
scale and
mindset.
that's fit.
That's think.
Okay. Oh, okay. So meaning
Yeah.
understand what the point of your going to the gym and what are you getting out of scaling or what intended stimulus. That's a think thing. That's not a fitness thing. I don't know.
Yeah, and all of these like in every single one of these categories, the very base level of them is show up, do the thing, right? But that will take, depending on where you are. Let's just take training, for example, where you are in your training age. My mom, who started, well, now it's been a while, but like when she first started, she was we all remember this, right? When we first started doing this, like we were making drastic changes, improvements in our, let's just say, our 1 rep maxes or our mile run times. And over the years, as our training age, our experience increased, we've slowed down. Like there's gradual plateauing, if not, maybe some of us have been doing this long enough that we might be going the other direction a little bit, and we're trying to fight that decline, right? But yeah, so level one, like step one is show up, and then that's only the first step in all of these categories. There's a lot more to all of them. With, like, for example, thinking about why you're showing up to the gym and why is this programmed in class today and how am I feeling today? Should I be trying to max out my deadlift when I've just got off of a plane and didn't sleep all night? And like that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot deeper things that can be addressed in all of those categories. And that's kind of what the point of these Fit Sixes are. Hyla, can you talk or no?
Who?
Kyla.
I'll take that as a no.
I can talk. I'm just out of town, so it's kind of loud where I'm at.
Got it. Did you catch, you can type too, you don't have to talk. Did you catch kind of what the Fit Sixes are about? Or did you even hear the categories? I didn't actually see when you hopped in.
No, I just hopped in like 5 minutes ago, but I'll watch the recording. You don't have to redo it.
Is recovery just mobility or is it other things, not sleep?
Actually, when I was talking earlier, I put drinking water is part of nutrition. And yes, it sort of is, but it's like drinking water is recovery. Going on walks and getting your steps in is recovery. Mobilizing is recovery. Going into a workout and quote unquote not. I mean, this is a mindset shift, actually. Like phoning it in, or it's because you're trying to be responsible. You can look at the same exact, like the running and air squats workout on Tuesday of last week. That could have been a very phone it in. I don't really get much out of this kind of a workout. Or you could have been like, I'm going to take my time with the air squats. I'm going to try different stances. I'm going to kind of like work on picking up my runs or something like that, or picking my feet up on my runs. I'm not really going to be too concerned with my time and my score, which leads me to my next point. So yeah, there's different ways to kind of approach that. And like Thursday's workout, it was like a box jump overs and something else I forget. You can approach workouts and say like, this is a recovery workout for me today, but I still showed up and I did it, and I'm trying to pay attention to X, Y, or Z. We also have a blog. Did you guys know that we have a blog? Steph, did you
No.
read anything yet?
I didn't, but I should multitask and do that now.
No, it's okay. Yeah, we have a blog on our website. And I'm going to start. We also have a YouTube page with all of our previous Fit Six recordings on as well. That I'll put on our website. I realize that that's probably a better place to have, or at least for people to access it. I've broken up the blog article that I've written so many things throughout the years for school and for clients and for the gym and PSA stuff and whatever. And I basically compiled a lot of it, almost all of it. I basically fed all of my writing that I've done ever on this kind of stuff into a GPT or whatever, LLM. And I'm washing all of the things I've written, and I'm adding to that with the blog. So it's decades of work that I'm basically trying to summarize for people. So you guys should look at them, and they're broken up into the Fit Six categories. So like if you click the train one, you're going to get all the articles that I've written that I think like kind of match with train, or think for mindset, or there isn't a whole lot on connect because that's not quite my expertise, but yeah.
I think it would be helpful if the coaches like Luke and other coaches that are coaching class either reference this blog or the availability of this resource, or otherwise like on more frequented social media platforms, put like links, like a little flashy that this exists, because I suspect a lot of people don't know that this even exists here.
Yeah, part of that was because I make, but hold on.
Did you know it existed, Sandra?
No, I had no idea. And I always complain to him while he's away. The coaches need to do better at making announcements, because I've talked to someone last week that said, oh, I'm going to bring my mom on Mother's Day. I said, you don't have to wait till Mother's Day. This is Bring a Friend Week month. And
Luke, we're not criticizing you. It is
well, yes, we are. But
it is no, I just mean like
in general, we don't get, and yes, it's written like 15 places. It's in the monthly newsletter. It's on the board at the, with the little calendar thing. but it's like people are just busy and they don't remember, they don't think about it. So,
Will told me about this and I still didn't remember to look. So
and you don't have to stop the class and make all these announcements. You can just like, oh, by the way, did you know this is Bring a Friend Month during class, while people are warming up. So we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but it would be nice if people heard them more than, it's like, isn't it like read, see, do or something to reinforce something? I don't know. It's been a long time since I learned anything, but I think that I think that's the saying.
Yeah, what I was saying was I only started writing these in 30 or in July, the articles. But yeah, I mean, I think there's some decent ones in there. They're not, and I've written them I hopefully have like gone back and forth enough times to kind of figure out. I don't know, but I think that the length of them is easy enough to digest in a 5 or so minute read. I put out 1 or 2 a week. It's not that big of an ask for people to read them. But who knows? I don't know. Hopefully I'll start getting some feedback. That's kind of why I brought it up right now. I'm gonna make people read some of my blog posts in this Fit 6 and see what people think.
Is that a think part? We didn't vote for think. We voted for nutrition.
Yeah, I know.
You should put like the poop scale on your readings. So how many poops does it take for you to read this entire article? Like put an emoji on there. 1, 2, 3 poops.
Depends on if it's a dude or a woman.
What do you guys leave him alone?
All right, we will read these as homework.
No, you don't have to. I'm just putting it out there because I will legitimately write one for every single week. And then what I've tried to do is I've tried to, whenever I write one, I try to connect 4 other related articles. So what I'll do for this round is I'll write one for the week that addresses whatever level of nutrition accountability deep dive we're getting into, and then I'll connect it to other articles that I think are worthy of reading as well, if people have time.
So you're talking about the EC Zinkowski things, little articles that you post?
What?
You're talking about like you put it, maybe it's in the blog. I don't know where it is. The EC Zinkowski. I mean,
I think it means connecting it to other things he wrote. So like if the theme is how to focus on your nutrition when you're at a work party or something, then there's other things nutrition related that he wrote that are linking to those too. Is that what you mean?
Right. I also haven't listened. I've been doing a lot of like book reading. I have not listened to any of those podcasts that I used to share constantly in that chat. I haven't listened to those podcasts in a really long time. But whatever.
I guess for someone that's newer to this, like Kyla or Brian, the point is on a weekly basis, there's some topic of discussion or focus, and then you try to apply that in your week, like daily practice. So if it's pay attention to what the macros are in the food you're eating, or like what is a carbohydrate, what's a protein, then that would be the focus of the week. And then at the end of the week, there's some recap of like if you can join some meeting, if we're going to do the meetings, then you talk about what challenges you had or what, or throughout the week, if like you see somebody that's doing the same thing, you ask questions or talk to them about it. But at the end of the 8-week period, there's some cumulative learning that you've done and refined. Like the first week will be the most general, and then it gets like narrower and narrower into a understanding of something.
Mm-hmm. Very, very well said. Okay.
Duh.
What else? What other questions do we have?
So when are we starting this? In February?
I knew that was going to be the next one. So let's see what I wrote.
We already started, Sandra. Just
I live by these rules every day of my life.
Well,
The
besides,
reset is February 8th, I think.
I mean, besides what Fit
Uh-oh.
6 is, right? So we've figured out what Fit 6 is. Now, how exactly, what are there weekly meetings? Is there homework? Like, just need more
Yeah.
information.
So what it sounds, nutrition one works really well with a weekly meeting to discuss what typically the meeting will be for the upcoming week. So let's say week number 6 or something. I forget how I organized it last time. Or 5 is like macros. So we talk about what macros are. We talk about what macros people should be trying to hit. We talk a little bit about like if you're weighing and measuring your food. I think we are doing it at that point in the discussion. And if that freaks you out, pause. Put that on pause. Put your fear and anxiety on pause. But let's just say that it's macros, and we're talking about that. Weighing and measuring your food. You should be counting your macros, weighing the food raw. For example, if it's chicken breast, because most things are the macros and the calorie content, all nutrition facts are given to you when you're cooking like just a single ingredient. They're given to you raw, for example. And then we'll I can't remember if I did this way last time or not, but like there will be levels of quote unquote commitment. So like not everyone is ready to weigh and measure their food. So once we get to a stage, kind of like working out, right? Once we get to a point that you kind of are like, this is I'm maxing out. Like this is enough for me. Like I don't want to, if I try to exceed this level of commitment or challenge, whatever, I will not be successful because I will not continue to do this. It's too hard or it's too new or it's too different. So like just kind of like the same thing in the gym, we're looking for that space that's just 5 or 10% beyond your comfort or your knowledge or your experience. And wherever you find that, you hang out there, and then you just kind of keep your ears open and your brain turned on when we talk about the subsequent ones. So yeah, we'll talk about like what's coming up for that week. We'll put a goal of, let's just say the macros one. It's to your checkbox for the nutrition for that week is, did I hit my calorie goals? And with those calorie goals, did I hit them with 40% of those calories coming from carbohydrates, 30% of those calories coming from fats, and 30% of those calories coming from protein? And I'll show people how to set them up, for example.
But Will, in the first like 3 weeks, I just don't remember because I'm too lazy to pull it up. The first 3 weeks are like, what is nutrition?
What's a vegetable?
Yeah, like what is how do you read a label when you go to a restaurant? What are you paying attention? Like it's not so basic because it's not basic. It's not super intuitive. Or maybe look at what role alcohol has in your nutrition. Like and also like approach, like don't expect, or like not everybody needs to have 100% of the time every single thing that goes into their mouth has to be like, you can still eat a piece of chocolate and still be able to achieve whatever your goal is. So like this isn't something kind of like what was it, Whole Life Challenge, where the challenge was how can you be 100% compliant with a list of rules from day one, and then like every day that you're compliant you get a star for. This doesn't really work like that. It can if you want it to, but the I think a potential, not downside, is that like starting off so broadly without a whole lot of focus at the beginning, it almost feels like, what am I actually doing? Like, what am I doing other than learning? And how does me learning without actually changing my kind of more dramatically changing my nutrition patterns, how is that going to immediately help me? I think that there's like But I get it. It's very difficult for somebody that has a light switch to be like, let me cut out all the alcohol. Let me eat, 150 grams of protein a day. Like, to do all that day one is very difficult when you don't even understand what are all these things that would be helpful to do. But then the flip of that is when you go ease into it like gradually, it kind of feels like you're not actually doing anything. So like, I think just be a patient, or otherwise on your own kind of ramp up more what you're willing to do.
And also the weigh and measure thing, once you've weighed and measured a while, I mean, a week even, or 2 weeks or whatever, you kind of get, oh, that's what this amount of food is. And you can estimate it in your brain. Like when you go to a restaurant, you go, oh, that's 2 portions of that. Because you know what it looks like for 1 portion.
But Brian, it's not as psycho as I mean,
It
can be psycho. It can literally be like, let me take this raw piece of chicken and put it on a food scale. Like, I don't do that. But it's more like, okay, generally for me, if I'm 200-pound body weight and I want to maintain 200-pound body weight and whatever composition, then I should be eating 2 pieces of protein like the size of my palm or something, like having a general sense that if I'm eating a 16-ounce steak, it's probably more than I need to be eating in a session. Like, even that in food portioning, understanding like a plate probably would be ideal if it was like a circle, like half the plate is vegetables and a quarter is meat and a quarter is some type of carb that doesn't have a lot of fat in it. Like, understanding how to put together a meal that like generally follows what will help you get to where you want to go, as opposed to like, I need to know that I have a quarter cup of rice measured out before, and like not 1 grain more, but like literally an eighth of a cup more of rice has a pretty significant change. Like, so even me, like eyeballing it, let me just get a couple more scoops. Like, that tastes really good. I'm going to eat a couple more scoops. That's totally fine to do, but it actually, it all adds up. But it's one time doesn't matter. But over the course of every meal over the week, it eventually accumulates and adds up.
Yeah.
So, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I figured it out as I was going. It took a while. I don't ever do it on my phone. I always do it on my computer and whatever. So I like a lot of what Stephanie's saying. And so what I would say is that focusing on the combination of macros or fats and carbs, whether you measure or not or whatever, and then getting to a point where you recognize it, like you're talking about, just by look when you go somewhere else, to me is more sustainable when you finish the program. And that's really what I'm looking for, is something where I can take all these basics, learn about them, really understand them, but turn them into something that I'm going to do every day. I'm not going to measure and weigh every day after 8 weeks. Maybe I'll do it during the 8 weeks, but I really am looking for that habit and consistency and recognition of what the nutrition is, to me, that's what's going to make it sustainable for me down the road, especially with, family at home and partners, and how you manage all that among it too. It's very different maybe during the 8 weeks versus what everyday life is going to be like. But recognizing is kind of what I'm looking for, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the most important, is find out something that's sustainable for you.
Yeah, it's basically, so for the people who've done this more than once, it's like trying to find one thing that you weren't already doing that just kind of adds and moves the needle just a little bit, puts you a little bit closer to whatever arbitrary like excellence you've defined as excellence, right? Whatever it is, you move yourself one step closer to that, and then you've absorbed that and made that part of your habit and routine. And the whole, I like the Whole Life Challenge because it tends to be really effective. And I stole a lot of stuff from all of these different. I don't think that they're bad. I don't think the Whole Life Challenge is bad. I don't think what's that Hard 75 or whatever? What's that one called?
That Hard 75.
Yeah, I don't think it's inherently bad, or carnivore or this or that and the other, except for they're not sustainable for most people. There's like the long-term adherence to any of these things, unless you're a true, like, y-
Well,
like,
also part of this thing, Will, is establishing a realistic goal for yourself. Like, what is the goal and what is the time frame in which you want to establish that goal or meet that goal? And the goal not necessarily I want to be 150 pounds. It's like I want to have a consistent eating pattern. I want to be able
Right.
to recognize or understand what the macros are in the food I'm eating and figure out a way to do that. Like, it should be more like habit goals and consistency of habit goals as opposed to I want to be able to get a ring muscle up by March or like, you know, so if you set something that's not a result as opposed to a habit or you're more likely to achieve that. And then the result of you doing the habit is you maybe get yourself a lot farther along where you want to be.
Yeah. Let me just show you like what these look like. Like this is from I opened them in 2025 to rewrite them. But basically, like this is the introduction that I'll probably rewrite and send to everybody. It's like talking about sustainability and what you're gonna. I don't know what all this is. Oh God, what did I do here? No, go away.
I lost it, whatever it
But I
was.
guess and I guess Brian, Kyla, Isa, I call you out is because maybe this is less like repetitive for you. Like, is that in the beginning, you're going to think for yourself, what do I actually want to get out of this? And like, it would be good to figure out what do you want to get out of it and whether that the thing you want to get is a realistic goal and how do you get to that goal? Like that planning for that in the beginning will help you figure out how deep you want to get into each of these things.
Right. So, like, can you see this PDF that I have on the screen right
Yes.
now?
Yeah.
Literally, the introduction, the next thing is like, what do you want? Like, write down some goals, and then it's like, start with why. Like, why are those the goals that you have? And it kind of gives you an opportunity to do that. And then this is kind of like the overview. Week number one, we basically just kind of like really reflect on why. Why are you doing this, and what are your goals, and why do you want them? And then we talk about quality versus quantity in terms of like, sure, you can get all of you could theoretically get all of your vitamins and minerals and stuff, supplements. But the quality of what you're eating is not necessarily as good as if you're eating the real foods to get those same things. Week number three is lazy macros. Is just like this is how much protein you should have. Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is how much protein should be in every single meal. This is how much carbohydrates. This is how much vegetables. This is how much fat. Lazy macros. Oh, sorry, that's hand portion control. Whatever. So like it basically gets more involved as we go through this, and we don't really dive into macros until week 6. And this is an old one. I'll review it again, but yeah, it can be as specific and intense as you want it to be. You can scale it up. You can scale it down. Yeah.
So one extra question is, maybe this is testing you a bit, is do you put evaluate per person, like body type, or what I would say is there an age aspect to this? Because I know for older people like me, it's a lot harder to maintain muscle and stuff. So are there tips for gearing towards that, or to figuring out at my age how to maintain more muscle?
So the research is basically they have not found that older individuals or women specifically, because most of the research was done on college age men in these places.
There you go.
They still are. They're not finding that the requirements are so drastically different that they need their own separate categories, unless you have maybe a thyroid issue or you have
Diabetic or whatever.
autoimmune issues, or you have a separate underlying issue that has to be kind of addressed individually.
Okay.
Yeah, for the most part, the macro prescription, let's call it, or suggestion, I shouldn't say prescription, is the same.
But
Okay,
it's generally tied to what your rough body weight and composition, the goal weight is. So like if you weigh,
Activity levels.
if you're like 200 pounds and your desire is to be roughly 180 pounds, then your macros would be set to your goal composition, right?
Correct. And it's based on, that's why I like, if you've never done a body spec, it's a good thing to do. Because body spec is a DEXA scan, and it's arguably the most accurate body composition measuring device that you're going to be able to access and regularly. Sure, the bioimpedance handheld things, or the scales that you stand on that sends a signal through your body, they can give you daily things, but they're influenced by how much water you've had. I mean, even the body spec is too, but the room for air, or the standard air, or whatever it is much smaller on a DEXA scan than it is on any of those other ones. But you don't have to have that. You know how your clothes are fitting. You know what the weight is on the scale, and the reason why this is an 8-week thing and not less is because you're looking for trends, right? We don't necessarily care about the fluctuations day to day. We care about the trend over time. So when we do this, we have a weekly weigh-in that you put your thing. We're going to actually, this time around, we're going to put it in Beyond the Whiteboard, because I'm going to make a lifestyle challenge on Beyond the Whiteboard.
It's private. It's private though.
It's
Meaning
yes.
Whatever you're putting in Beyond the Whiteboard is not like your leaderboard score getting
Right.
posted to the gym.
Right.
I wouldn't mind that.
But the weighing doesn't necessarily, unless your point is to lose weight, like your daily weight fluctuates. So if you lost like a pound or two in a day, that didn't mean, or you gained a pound or two in a day, it's not like, oh shit, I need to go harder on something because the weight didn't change linearly in a certain direction over the course of time.
The body spec, I did one in January, which I expected to be really horrible, and it wasn't. Compared to the last time I did it, it was it proportionately changed, but it didn't disproportionately change your fat to lean mass. So I was kind of surprised about that it takes somebody being really horrible for a really long time to make a big change in that.
But what do you mean by horrible? Because you're not a horrible person, Sandra.
I am a horrible person.
Beer, cookies, wine.
Yeah, I mean, I had been drinking, I don't normally drink. I drank a lot. I ate a lot of desserts. I overate food. I ate the wrong food. I was just horrible. I was completely out of control. And I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a horrible body spec. And it wasn't horrible. It was.
So you just confirmed it's okay to do all those things.
It was confirmed that it's okay to do that for a short time period. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know when it tips the scale and it just goes, way off. But it is a good barometer of what direction you're headed. So, because
part of the bigger message of this Fit 6 in general and specific to nutrition is it's not sustainable to what's the word? I want to say deprive. Is that the right word?
Yeah, that's the right word.
It's unrealistic to think that you're not going to partake
to operate in a calorie deficit your whole life. You're not going to live your entire
not,
life in a deep
not
calorie
sustainable.
deficit.
It's not real.
Correct.
So it's okay. And one of the things about this is like trying to learn, okay, I can fit those things in to even when you're trying to weigh and measure your food, I can make room for those things, and still have a generally balanced and varied diet that let's call it diet or whatever, that I'm satisfied with. I'm eating food that I like. I'm hitting the stuff that I need. I'm doing it in moderation. You know, like that's part of the message, the thing in this. Same with training, same with recovery, same with sleep. You know, all of those things.
Well, the most important thing is to maintain the good things that you're doing. You know, when you go off and do bad things, you've done them, but to keep maintaining, you know, your lifestyle, keep all the good things.
But I think also like the assigning value to it doesn't like maybe can make you feel guilty about things. So as opposed to there are habits that are you want to focus on adding, like instead of saying I want to eat less food or less like junk food, it'd be I want to prioritize eating protein. So I want to do something positive, add it in and focus on building on your habits. And then you do those more regularly. And the times that you don't get to do that on purpose, like I'm going to a birthday party, I want to eat a piece of cake. I'm not going to eat a lot of protein, but I'm going to eat a lot of cake that day. That was a deliberate choice to do that. And it's not that you're bad. It probably doesn't help you to do it frequently. But I feel like if we get on the focus of like, oh, I effed up and I did something bad, I'm like, that means that you are a failure. And it's not, it's just, you either made a deliberate choice to do something or you didn't. And you know, like, figure out why you did something against what you wanted to do. Meaning like I could be stressed out and eat a whole bag of chips right now. And that's probably not what I intended to do, but I did it. And so figure out why did I do it? Maybe I don't want to do it again.
Well, and part of the purpose of the program is to know that you're making choices. Some people don't even know that they're making choices and that's a bad choice, that's a good choice. You at least know after this that choice is bad and that choice is good, but I'm doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Is there a cost to Body Spec?
Body Spec has a cost. So that's kind of why I said you can weigh yourself and be that's sufficient enough. I really do like getting a Body Spec done, though, or suggesting that people get them done because it is almost as objective as it possibly can be. Versus, I think I look a little bit different in the mirror, or I think this fits a little bit different.
And it breaks down like parts of your body, like your arms, your legs, your trunk, and you know where the lean mass is, where the fat mass is, and I know where my fat mass is, and that Body Spec showed me that.
Yeah. So what is the cost?
Your weight, it tells you.
It's between like 50 and 65, depending on if
it's not. It used to be a lot cheaper.
I thought it was 49.
It's like if you get it on sale or if you buy
there was like a I saw an advertisement for it, like a New Year's special for like $100 for 2 or something like that.
But if you were going to go buy one single one, I think it's like 65 or 7. It's kind of a lot. I think a lot.
That's not what I paid. Oh, no. Yeah. I paid for it this time because one time I accidentally bought a package. So it took me a long time to use all those up. But this time I'm pretty sure I paid and it was like 49, or 15, whatever.
Well, that's not unreasonable.
Don't do it every month because you're not going to see enough of a change. I just was doing it once a quarter.
Okay, so you'll give
the best strategy for doing that if you're going to is you do it. If you've never done it, you should do it at the beginning and end of an intervention of some kind. So like we're starting this in February. I think February 8th, Julia said. I think they're coming on February 7th. Mm-hmm. So like I suggested that like that's one, and then you do one at the end. I think it ends on the day that they come.
Right, April 4th, yeah.
And they also go to other, I mean, you don't have to go to the one.
They're all over the place.
They have other locations in the Valley that they like mobile do it. So if that day and time doesn't work for you, there are other spots in other places.
She's in Santa Clarita or Valencia. I'm sure they have locations out there also.
Yeah, there's
you'll give us info on how to get that or get to that.
Yeah,
like sign up or whatever.
I save it in my emails, so I can.
It's also on the newsletter and the website.
Okay, I read the newsletter. Was it a link in there?
I take that back.
I'm not sure.
Julia, we'll get you the information.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
so that's all.
easy. Yeah, it's very, very simple to find.
Yep.
What else? Okay, so cool. I know how I'm gonna do this round. I'll put a poll out. It's probably going to be Sundays in the evening for the course of the 8 weeks. For
Accountability buddies.
the meeting, I think there's a few more people that wanted to be on this call and part of this round of them that were not able to make it. So
Yeah, Pandora.
But
Ignite. Sure.
I'll kind of figure out how I want to push people to get accountability buddies. What else do we do? I think that's it.
Well, don't we have like in the Fit Six WhatsApp chat, people can put stuff in there and say, "Oh, I found this at Costco. It's blah blah," whatever. If you find things that are good things to get, or whatever, or tips, or I saw this and whatever. This
Yeah, I
art.
mean, I'm only one person, so and a few like Stephanie could probably run this call because she's done this so many times with me. There's a lot of experience in that chat that everyone should kind of rely on and lean into.
Are we gonna do weekly Zooms? Or are we gonna skip
Yeah,
that?
that's what I was saying. It's probably Sundays in the afternoon or afternoon evening.
Okay.
Maybe the morning. I'll put a poll up and see what works the best for most people, and I'll record them also. So if someone misses one or can't make them, they can always listen to them.
If anyone has questions, you can come directly to me, and I will give you my honest opinion.
I have a question. I would love to do a little bit of a dive into like different bars, because I find like when I don't have time to meal plan, or and I know this is kind of a specific question, but there are 50 million kinds of bars out there, and when I go online and I read about different bars, one thing will say like this is a good bar and that's a good bar and then this is a crappy bar, but like nothing is consistent. So I always feel like having good bars are really helpful to me. So while people are asking questions, I would really like some good bars to eat.
There's we're not talking about alcohol drink bars. We're talking about eating bars.
No,
I'm
talking about like bars or like
Yeah.
like there are some days where if I don't like meal prep, like I'll take like a protein bar and some snacks to work. Like I just want to make sure like I'm getting my bang for my buck in the bars that I'm eating. But I just find so much conflicting information about different bars that I would just love some insight on that topic in general.
Kyle, I think like some just preliminary one is like taste preference, but also looking at we can talk offline, but looking at the ratio of like the macros to each other, so protein to fat to carbs in the bar, and like what you're trying to get out of that bar. Like, is it a full meal that you're skipping, or this is in lieu of food, like solid food?
Right. I mean, oftentimes it is like that. It will be like the major part of my meal is a bar, and then maybe like some fruit or something with it that I'm taking to work. So.
Well, and it's the same thing with the shakes. There's 15 million different shakes that you can buy. Some are better and some are worse.
We'll go over that, but we can go over some of it right now, I suppose.
I mean, we don't have to go over it right now. It's just as people are talking about this stuff and you're talking about like true nutrition, one of the things that I find a personal issue with is that sometimes I'm trying to eat well, but I'm also like time. So I'm grabbing things, and what I'm grabbing, it might not be real food, because like a bar is, I mean, it's food, but it's not like a piece of chicken, and just making like those choices. So to me, like that conversation would also be really helpful as well.
I think I've like from my own personal opinion and experience, Like I love a good bar that tastes like candy. Like
Yes.
I absolutely, but I have found that the macros in any bar that I've eaten, it's like that's my emergency situation because it's not ideal. Like there's typically too much fat or too many weird ingredients that mess with my stomach. Like I have that problem too. So from myself, they're sort of like a candy bar. And so I have not found a bar that is like a suitable regular replacement for a meal. Like protein shakes have been, and I know that's not like realistic if you're not in a spot where you can like mix up a shake with liquid. Um, but like in a pinch, there are ones that are less problematic for my stomach or that have high enough protein compared to fat that are like, all right, this is better than no food or like literally eating shit. But
Right.
I've tried to figure out ways to not have to rely on that because all of them are like not ideal on a recurring basis for me.
And that might be the answer, is that none of them are ideal, and that's why I keep searching for one that will taste
Because
decent.
if you look at all the other ingredients in them and you're like, if you really want like a 20 plus gram protein bar, which what you should be when you're eating it as a meal replacement, it like typically has a bunch of other crap in the bar that you don't necessarily want along with it.
Right. Okay.
And if that's your choice, that's okay. But the point is trying to be informed about that choice, right? When I'm trying to be which I will be probably for this upcoming round of this, my last meal will very probably be Costco has like here, let me go grab it.
No.
Sorry to divert the conversation, but just as something just triggered that thought, because when we start these, I try to be really diligent of what I'm eating, but I also know that there are days that I just like meal prep or I'm busy or something is going on, and then what to eat what to eat when to still be the best that I can for that meal, but not completely just for the best options.
Yeah, Kyla said in the app Yuka or Yucca, however you pronounce. I think it's Yuka. There's an app that kind of like grades choices, and you can scan barcodes or I actually even think you can scan like a plate, like your meal, and it'll tell you what's in it. It's new-ish. I've actually never. It's not new, but it's been like in the past couple of years, and I haven't really played with it too much. But it's definitely very interesting. That could give you a little bit more insight immediate, like, oh, this plate, what's on this? Okay, it's a rated. I think it does it in like colors or something. But here's the bar I wanted to show you. So this is like when I'm doing when I'm being pretty diligent with my nutrition, trying to really keep track of my macros, when I'm trying to lean out a little bit, lose a little bit of body fat. This is the one I eat.
Okay.
And it's got 20 grams of protein and 10 grams of fiber, but it's also got stevia glycosides in it, which is essentially stevia. It's got erythritol, and it's got, I don't know what this is, isomalto oligosaccharides.
What are the carbs and fat in that bar?
It's actually incredible macros. It's got 6 grams of fat that comes from not cocoa butter, but cashew butter. So it's like a nut fat, and the protein's a whey isolate basically, and then the fiber comes from like a vegetable source. It's okay, and so I'll have this and a piece of fruit and a protein shake, and that's like my dinner. And it's really easy to eat on the way home. I can eat it in the car, a bar, an apple, and drink a protein shake, and like that's 45 grams of protein and almost 20 grams of fiber, and it's good. And like, sure, a real one of the, like, week number 1, it's like real food. Like that should be the priority always, but that's not always possible. So then you start to figure out, okay, well, how close to real food can I get? what about real food is what I'm trying to achieve. I want these macros, this macronutrient profile. I'm trying to get as much vitamins and minerals as I can, as much fiber as I can with those macronutrients and things like that. We'll talk about that, but just
Okay.
because you asked, this is the bar I like.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that.
They don't taste very good. They're not. They're speaking of MREs, Isabel. They're not far from it, but it's. I'll put up with a lot. I don't really care.
If you're willing to lower your standards, anything is possible.
Yes.
What if
Even
you
cold chicken breast and broccoli. Even though that would choke me. That's something the ER again. But okay, what else, Isabel?
Yeah, what if you're still hungry after eating that, like the bar, the protein shake, and the fruit? What do you do?
I mean, it depends. It's it, some of this is getting used to it, right? So if you're trying to change how much calories at what time of day you're eating them, how you're eating them, you have to give it yourself some grace, and you gotta give it some time. With that said, though, what ends up happening, generally speaking, is when you're eating whole, mostly whole, unprocessed, real food to try and hit the macro goals, let's just say, that you're trying to hit, it ends up being way more food than people are expecting it to be, and people end up being way fuller and not able to actually finish the food that they're trying to eat. That ends up being the case for most people. When you start to process things and take out some of the actual, like, this is a dense brick, right? There is not a whole lot of volume to this. If I tried to eat 190 calories, which is in this bar, of, like, I had a protein shake, let's just say, with water, so that's 120 grams of, or 120 calories. If I tried to do 70 grams of broccoli, I wouldn't eat again. I would not still be hungry, let's just say. So that we'll talk about food volume also. It's very probably a volume problem. It's not enough to fill up the space in your stomach.
Thank you.
And the satiety factor of protein and fats versus carbohydrates. There's a lot to go into, huh?
You told me before, when I think I asked a variation of that question, you're like, make yourself broccoli and eat it. If you're still hungry, make some broccoli and eat it and see if you're still hungry after that. It was enough to make me not hungry.
Just the thought of trying to eat more broccoli.
The thought of eating any broccoli.
We love broccoli. We're not trying to diss broccoli. We're just using it as an example. Like, it's a lot harder to consume, let's just say, 100 calories of broccoli than it is 100 calories of rice.
Mhm.
Right.
Well, and it's easier to drink, one of those protein shakes. It's liquid and it fills you up, than trying to eat the equivalent amount in chicken breast or something.
Yeah, 20 grams of protein or 30 grams of protein in a nutrition plan Fairlife shake
Right.
not keep you as full as 30 grams of chicken breast protein.
Will not?
It will not.
Oh, well, yes, that's true. But I probably couldn't eat 30 grams of chicken breast right away. I mean, at one time. I don't know how much that is, but that seems like a lot.
It's the palm of your
30 to 40
hand.
is essentially this much protein.
Yeah, see, that would fill me up, and probably more. Yeah, it would fill me up more than the shake. Yeah.
And there's all, I guess we're going down this rabbit hole right now, some of it. There's also the act of eating, right? It takes longer to eat that food. You
Right.
end up feeling fuller, faster, longer, because it just takes time. Our brains have a connection of masticating, swallowing, digesting. It spreads that meal out longer. So there's all sorts of stuff like that we won't even get into all of it. So, yeah. All right. Any other questions?
Steph, where'd you go? There you are.
I'm here.
She's jumping all over the screen. Okay,
No.
cool. I'll put so I think it's February 8th. Hold on. 7th.
Are there t-shirts out of this challenge?
But then with the first,
Listen here, you. I promise you.
I'm
They're
kidding. No,
coming.
I have two Fit 6 shirts. I had a Fit 5 shirt. That's how classic it is.
Oh wow. Yeah, we could make one.
I'm kidding.
I mean,
I'm just kidding.
No.
the problem is
Hey,
Farmer's already backed up
for
on
our
2
semis.
other shirts. So I'm like, well, I don't want to give him another one.
no, we don't want another shirt. We want our semifinal shirt.
Wait,
Good.
what about the 9 a.m. shirts?
That's made. It's
What-
ready.
How do we get them?
Sorry,
Uh,
sensitive subject. Let's turn this off. The meeting has exceeded an hour by far.
All right.
Oh, by the way, is the Zoom session going to cut off after an hour? Because
Well, normally it's 45 minutes, but no, I pay for it.
so it can go longer.
This one has.
I know, but last time we were doing this, it would cut off after an hour, and it was like, okay, goodbye. I guess we're.
Well, it would cut off after 45 minutes. And I did that because partly to limit the time, because sometimes these turn into 2-hour phone calls.
Okay.
And that's not necessarily doesn't work for everybody.
Okay, so if we have a 45-minute time limit, we need to state that at the beginning.
I wanted to say one more. Oh, I was gonna. So yeah. So Body Spec comes on February 7th. We'll start this on February 8th. Will be our first call, probably, and it'll probably be in the afternoon/evening.
Okay,
Which means I will send out the.
by the way, February 8th is Super Bowl. FYI, I don't care, but some people might.
I was about to say the same thing.
So do it in the morning, just that one day.
Yeah,
Okay, and then I'll send out the first start thinking about these things article on February 1st. And then it'll be like the time for the meeting will be decided, the accountabilities, accountabilities. Ooh, I like that. Accountabilities will be decided by that point. I'll have all of the specifics fleshed out, and we'll be good.
it's so windy. Oh my God, I thought this was supposed
Thank you.
stop.
Thank you, Will.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate all of this.
Are we done?
We're done.
Okay,
Bye.
Bye. Happy
Bye,
Sunday.
everybody.
happy Sunday.
Sunday.
We're done, buddy.